Evening all, welcome to Kicking Dust. Right, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about tanking, and we're going to talk about maybe the pros and cons of such. And we're also going to talk about maybe the tactics to kill tanks as well, which is something I think quite interesting actually, because towards the end of this video you see me bomb trucking because, well, you'll see why. And I think it's worthy of discussion, because the reality at the moment is there's a lot of people using free tanks rather powerfully, and I guess that's kind of what they intended, but you know, a 70k ISK Seeker can be called in, and it has a militia railgun as part of it, so that's free, and it's quite a dangerous thing. So you could literally buy 70k's worth of tank, stick maybe 10k's worth of damage mods on it, and you've got a formidable platform of death and woe at your fingertips. And that's kind of the issue, because it's a little bit too much, I think. But what is it? Post in the comments, tell me what you think, because I actually would say that I like the idea of militia tanks, but I think they should be really crap. I mean, I do mean that. I think 70k for a militia tank is well, it's kind of taking a mickey in it, when my prototype suit is costing what, 200k? So you know, that's bit broken. You could call in a Soma and you have a blaster turret pretty much at your beck and call right there, and I think that's a shame as well. So I don't know, as I completely noob it off the edge of the road, just terrible in it. I'm no good at tanking. I'm never professed to be either. I think it's a tricky, difficult thing to do at times, but it can be ultimately fun. So I think this is why I guess it is worthy of discussion, because I think at the moment it's just a little bit kind of too easy. For example, I am seeing a pattern where if I call my dropship in and I start shooting people with my dropship, the immediate go-to fit is to call in a redline railgun tank and shoot me. Okay, now that's bollocks. I think too many people, usually poorly informed, you know, knobs, who think that they know the game, blah blah, will say, well, that's the only way to deal with a dropship, and that's not true. I have fantastic battles with people who have got forward guns and swarms, because they are potent and deadly, and yet there is a proper battle there. So the skill of their forge gunning versus the skill of my dropshipping is the true test of metal. So that works perfectly fine. Dropships are far from being overpowered. I mean, when you think about it, it's 500,000 ISKs worth of asset being put up against 70k tank. That's bollocks. Plus, there's no risk to the person who can sit in the red line and shoot you. So again, this is really the fundamental issue of this whole problem, is that by one person calling in 70k's asset, they deny the whole map, a particular game style. And what bothers me further is that there is a major issue as well with people recalling tanks. So for example, you have a redline railgun tank, and there are people who have actually done this. I even tweeted them about them, because what they do is they call in a redline railgun tank, they then shoot for 60 seconds with their modules on, they roll back, they call in another tank. While that's being dropped in, they recall the tank they've just used, and then they roll forward and start shooting again with a space of about 10-15 seconds. Total utter shit that is even a possible. That is an exploit beyond belief, and I don't think anybody can even dare try and protect that one. That is an exploit. Okay, and yet people are doing it in like crazy numbers now, because they know they can get away with it. And the fact that I just said it on a video may mean that we're going to see more of it, but hey, maybe somebody will do something about it. But this is kind of the issue, is that because patches are so few and far between now, does that mean that if we find a market bug or something that's broken within the game, that it can't actually be replaced quickly? So, you know, if you do know of any bugs in the game that truly break the game, please let me know, and we'll make a great big video about them, and then we'll put them on online, so that forces CCP to maybe actually do a patch. I know, terrorism patchness, what's this about? It's crazy, isn't it? But I know, I'm only kidding, chill out. Don't send me stuff, I'm joking. But I think my frustration is kind of you know, really drawn from the fact that it just feels that there's some really questionable tactics. And the problem is, it's not CCP's fault either, it's our fault, it's the players, because this game has generated a very nasty bunch of attitudes in this game. And this is, I guess I'll maybe even title the video this, it's called Win by Any Means. Okay, and it doesn't matter if you're having fun, it just matters that you win. And it doesn't mean win the battle, it means you win the engagement. So if I'm a dropship in the air, somebody calls in a tank, the only thing that matters to that tanker is killing me. Doesn't matter how they do it, what tactics they use, if it's questionable, if it's even ethical, if it's classed as an exploit, they will do it because at the end of the day they win. And this is the Eve mentality that unfortunately it did kind of, I saw this in huge numbers in Eve because disappointingly people are like this. And I didn't see it so much in Dust when I started playing Dust, but it's coming through now more and more because of things like PC. Because PC, most particularly, but also FW, mean that it doesn't matter how you win, you've got to win to get the result. Okay, and when you have a game mode like that, it's no longer fun. Okay, PC is not fun. People who say, "Oh, I love PC, it's so much fun," you're full of shit. Seriously, because it's not. It's laggy. It's crap. It's just ridiculously over the top crap, and that's my issue with it. FW is becoming the same. You don't get a good fight in FW. A lot of people ask me why I'm not running FW. It's a whole new game mode because it's shit. That's the problem with it, is that it's just filled with people with scout suits and drop pads who will sit on an objective. When the objective gets rushed, they hide, they run away, they hide, and then when the people of the marauding gang have moved on, they go back and rehack it, and then they sit there. That is boring. It's win by any means. It's it's poor game design because it doesn't kind of create an actual melting pot where people are trying. It is total crap. And that's my issue with a lot of this, is that it's just literally people wanting to win by any means. And and I'm not like that. And I know people will be laughing and falling off their chairs now, but I am honestly not like that. The whole fit of the month thing I think was quite interesting because I certainly have not done that for a long time now. I mean, Flaylocks, lol, that was a long time ago. But you see people who are running prototype Caldari Assault, and they're running the Ishikoni Assault rail rifle, and they're just using hipfire, auto aim assist, and they're just killing. They're getting many kills. Or they're using the Scrambler rifle. That's a big culprit at the moment. The Scrambler rifle, Visium Scrambler rifle with Amara Assault, and they're just farming kills. And you have to say to themselves, are you enjoying the game, bro, or is this a habit for you now? Do you just log into Dust because you don't have anything else in your life? And I think that is actually quite true of a lot of people now, is that actually they are logging into this game to feed a habit. So it doesn't matter how they do it or how they win. And that's sad. That is really sad. That is the point where most players should potentially take a break from this game, because that is pretty much relevant to what's going on, I think, in the game at the moment, is a lot of people aren't trying. So they're redline railgunning, tanking to get their cap up, and then they're probably just sat not playing the game for like two or 3 days, and they do it all over again. Don't do that. Don't perpetuate that. That's boring. Play a game. Play differently. Try something different. And I think this is part of the game that I think people really don't do enough of. So you're about to see something that I think is very prevalent of this particular issue, because there are a group of people who just continually run prototype, and when they can't make prototype work, they will then use whatever tactics they can muster, and that includes redline railgun tanking. And I think it's a shame in a way, because it just is such a kind of sad, pathetic move to do. And I do mean that. I think you're not a good player if you redline railgun tank. I know people would sit there and say, I get loads of kills. No, you're not. You're just using the fit of the month. You're using easy mode. And I think unless you can actually be in the battlefield fighting and killing people on the battlefield, then if you need that red line, then you're a very bad player. Very, very bad player indeed, because quite frankly it means you can't even stand a fight in the open map. So there we go. I mean, a bit trolly, I know, but I just think at the moment there's so many kind of and again, it's not CTP's fault. It really is our own fault, because I think the way that people are with this game is just very, very questionably crap, and it's a shame in a way, because I think some people just really are. I mean, look at this prime example. Look at him. Look at this brave red line tanker. What a complete dick. Seriously, it's so sad, isn't it? It's just I'm having to literally throw my tank away to kill him. I just think it's terrible. And then he jumps out with a forge gun. What a massive dicklord. And that's it. That's kind of what we're experiencing every single round now, to the point where I'm raging, because it's just so unfulfilling and boring that people are just sat on the red line sniping away with a tank. And then they just take this thing of, well, you're in a dropship or you're in a tank, you're too powerful, so I need to take you on. It's like, well, take me on then. It's literally like you have a button on the red line you press every 5 seconds that kills a prototype suit in the city. If that happened, people would be up in arms, but no, because it's like one particular part of this, it's all kind of shit. Now, so I kind of draw out a bit more of a questionable tactic here by using bomb trucks. Now, again, I like bomb trucks. I think they're funny. But again, I know they probably caused quite a bit of anger in people, but when this is the only tactic I have to kill redline railgunners, what am I supposed to do? This is the issue, is that I can't take a dropship and kill them because the red line is too far back. There's too much red line. I can't sit in a sniper tank and shoot. Well, I could sit in a sniper tank and shoot them back, but my God, who wants to do that? That's just as boring as the game they're playing. So I think bomb trucking is quite an interesting thing for me to do to get them back, and I do rate it. I really do. I think if you have redline railgun tank problems, I think try bomb trucking because yeah, it's questionable. Yes, it's very, very annoying, but it's actually trying. You're putting yourself out there and trying, and I give credit to the fact that you're not fighting from the red line. You're actually trying. Oh, look at that, customer number 1. so I mean, come on, that's funny. But again, post in the comments, is this just as questionable as redline railgunning? Maybe. But I'm on the field, I'm playing, I'm in the game, I'm in an LAV that's easily shot by the tank, so surely I'm testing their skill. I'm not sat in the red line, I'm not sat under their MCC hiding, I'm literally playing the game to try and get them back. And when the game descends to this point where, quite frankly, the only option open to me is to put remote freaking explosives on an LAV to drive into the red line in time to kill a tank that's been sniping the whole match, don't you think that's broken, CCP? Question, is it? Because quite frankly, they obviously don't. They know it's a problem. They're aware of it as an issue, quote. But when you don't kind of address it, maybe as, quite frankly, this is breaking the game, then I think, quite frankly, they just think this is the way the game's going. So I think future things for us are going to be probably long-range railgun tanks that can shoot the shit out of anything from a distance. In which case, oh, Titanfall, hurry up! Oh, being shot. Better go the back way. But my issue with all of this, in almost summary, in a kind of long rambling way, is that the game, I think, has generated, because there's so few people playing it, because there's so few maps, and because there are so many options and good things like suits and weapons and such, that you've created now a kind of migrating bunch of people who just go from one tactic to the other. So, day one, somebody found that railguns were good, so they started redline railgun sniping everything that moved. And then somebody got killed by that, they then do it themselves, and it exponentially grows like a zombie infection. And that's kind of what I think has happened with redline railgunners, is that people realize you need no skill to do it, you don't need skill points as in to do it, and you can pretty much go and do whatever you like. You can kill whoever, you can wipe out whoever, and that gives you immense power with very, very little risk at all, because the only real way to get you is either a bomb truck from somebody who knows what they're doing, or an orbital that may be lucky, and even then they sit under the MCC most of the time. So this is broken. I mean, how can anybody try and defend this? It's stupidly broken. And I think one of the key things that people don't get is that they say, well, dropships are overpowered, and it's like, but they're not, because firstly, it's 500,000 ISKs worth of asset that you're bringing in. That's quite a commitment to bring into a map. Secondly, it's also the fact that quite honestly, dropships can be shot down by any AV at all, and they do quite often. I mean, most dropships don't survive the match. People forget that. They think, oh well, you killed 10 people, but then you lost your dropship. Yeah, I lost it. That's 500,000 ISKs worth of loss. That's 2.5 matches wasted for me now. And people just don't get that. They think that literally you're stood there like the hammer of Thor, killing everything, when the reality is you're far from it. So here we go, Mr. Redline Railgun. Fuck you. Leave the game. Go away. Oh, I know. It's a shit tactic. I totally hold my hands up to it. But when this is the only thing open to you, what then? So what next? Is it going to be everyone's going to be redline railgun tanking, and so we just sit there and watch like 3 or 4 people go and hack the point, but yet none of them can get to the point because they're being sniped? That is what's going to happen, quite frankly. And I think the maps are not good. They foster this thing because everything is fighting on a fucking crater. Look at this crater. Every map is generally a crater. You probably know that, but every map is a crater because they didn't want to show a long draw distance, and that's just fundamentally the issue. So everybody snipes, everybody railgun tanks. Hardly anyone's even playing this game. Are you, bro? because it feels like I'm fighting the same 100 people every night, and quite honestly, they all know the same tactics. We all know the same crap, and we just sit there and shoot each other from a distance. And it's a perpetuation of the sort of myth that we're having fun, because I think, quite frankly, a lot of the time we're not. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.